One of the most counterintuitive things about the trading journey is that you have to learn to become a very good loser in order to win. Trading is one of those unique things where losing is part of winning. And you have to understand, and you really have to ingrain this idea in your mind, even though it's counter to how we're all programmed as humans, that in order to win at the end of the month or at the end of the year, you have to experience many different losses and many smaller losses as a trader. So the first idea I would love to share when we talk about removing the pain of losing is that losing is an essential part of the game. And many traders intellectualize this idea, they know it, but when it comes to actually facing losses and embracing losses, they can't. So what I wanted to do in today's video is share with you some psychological mental models in order to help you embrace losing and make it part of the game, and help you embrace inevitable losses in your trading. Now, the first idea I would love to share with you here is that in your trading plan and your edge needs to be set up in a way that minimizes losses and lets winning trades run. And you want to set up your processes and your systems and the way you trade, your strategy, to maximize your wins and to minimize your losses. And you want to set up everything you can in a way that cuts your losses short and lets your winning trades run. And then once you do that, and once you have a set process or a set strategy that cuts losses short and lets winners run, then what you want to do is you want to focus on honing into your psychology and mastering the game of losing, and not letting losing deter you from trading your trading plan. Because some traders think that, you know what, I can have a trading plan that lets me experience very big losses, and I'm just going to use mindset tools to deal with the pain of those losses and then not worry about them. But the truth is, you want to optimize your trading plan so that you minimize your losses, and then those inevitable losses that you experience, you then use mindset tools on top of that to help manage those so that you're not deterred from your trading plan. So the first thing every trader needs to do is they need to go into their trading plan. If you don't already have a trading plan, you want to start there, develop a trading plan. I've got a free template in the description. And you want to set up your strategy in a way to minimize losses and to let winning trades run. And there's a great question that I like to ask myself and my students and coaching clients. And ask yourself, when I look at my trading results, what are the 20% of things that I do that gets me 80% of my results? And what are those setups that I take, or those pairs that I trade, or those time zones that I trade that, the 20% of those things that get me most of my results? And I want to hone in on those things and optimize those things. And what are the 80% of things I do that lead to only 20% of my results? Or what are the 20% of setups I take that lead to 80% of my results? And how can I start to phase those out so that you can already start to optimize your trading plan to minimize losses and maximize wins? And then maybe you find that whenever your trades go into, 50% of drawdown, and this is just an example, maybe some of your trades, whenever they tend to go into 50% of drawdown from your entry point to your stop loss, that if they pass the 50%, they're more than likely not, going to take you out for a full loss. So with that type of information, you can then optimize your strategy to cut losses short. Now, this is just a random example. You have to have a look and you have to make data-driven decisions, but I want each of you to go in there and have a look. Can you optimize your strategy to minimize your losses and to let your winners run? And then once you've done that, let's talk about the pain of losing. Let's go in there and let's put some mindset tools in place to manage that. Now, the pain of losing comes from the addiction to and the seeking after winning. Because the more and more you seek after this pleasurable experience of winning, and you have winning up on a pedestal and you're addicted to the feeling of winning, then guess what? The opposite of that is very painful. The more addicted you are and the more positive and pleasure you associate to winning, and the more you're seeking after that, then by law of contrast, the more painful losing is. And the more painful not having winning is. Okay? So it's what we call a pair of opposites. And the more polarized you are towards winning, the more painful losing is. So one of the first things you can do in order to remove the pain of losing is to remove your expectations and your desires and all this pleasure you're associating to winning. And an exercise I take all my six-figure traders through is what I call the Bulletproof Your Mindset tool. It's a free tool in the link in the description. And what that tool helps you do is it helps you identify, firstly, all your expectations on the outcome, all these benefits you think you're going to get. Okay? And then it helps you go in there and ground those expectations and smash those expectations, and just with rational thought processes and lines of questioning to help you ground those expectations so that you realize that it's unrealistic for anybody to expect anything from the market on that individual trade. And then the tool helps you align you with your trading plan so it makes sure you're actually sticking to your trading plan. Okay? But what I found is that most of the pain of losing doesn't really come from the loss of the dollar amount or the percentage amount, because a lot of the times you've minimized your risk to 1% or even less. But what traders do is they attach these ideas and these fantasies towards the win, to the win. And what they say is that, all right, this win's going to make me maybe 3%. It's going to make me maybe $3,000, 3,000 US dollars. It's pretty good. But it's also going to help me pass my other funded account. And it's also going to help me work towards this new watch I want, or this new car I want. And I'm going to post this win in my community. I'm going to get some validation. I'm going to post it on my Instagram, and that girl I really like is going to see it. And I'm attaching all these positive fantasies and expectations to the win so that when you lose or you don't take a win, you not only lose the 1%, the $1,000, which for most traders, relative to their account size and relative to what they're making that month, isn't a big deal, but they also lose all those fantasies and expectations they've attached to that. They're no longer able to, move towards that watch or to that car as quickly as they thought. And they can't post on their Instagram. They can't post in their group. And that's what the pain is. It's the pain of the loss of all those expectations and benefits traders have attached to the win. Okay? So be very, very acutely aware of your expectations before you get into a trade. Because I guarantee you, the greater the expectations, now there may be very quiet whispers in the back of your mind. There may even be subconscious expectations. But the more you can bring those to surface before you trade, and you build up that muscle of being aware of what you're expecting from the trade, and then grounding those before you take the trade, and making sure you're sticking to your trading plan for each individual trade, then the less and less pain you're going to experience if you do take inevitable losses. Okay? Now you also feel less and less elated when you win, but that's also a good thing, because if you get elated after you win, guess what's going to happen? You're going to feel invincible. You're going to start to minimize risk in the market. You're going to start ignoring your trading plan and your trading rules, and you're going to become complacent, and you're going to start forcing ideas and projecting ideas narcissistically onto the market, thinking that you can predict what's going to happen next, and then you're only going to get humbled by doing that. And you're going to go through a string of losses and you're going to get stuck in the boom and bust cycle. Okay? So the first way to remove the pain of losing is to remove those pleasurable expectations of winning and what you think you're going to get from the win. The other exercise I really love taking my traders through is you have to understand that when you go in there and you develop your particular strategy, when you're doing your back testing, and you then trade those back-tested results in your forward trading, back-tested forward trading, you're identifying your edge through previous trading data, and you know exactly where to take entries. And then when you have a look at your back-tested results, you're going to have a sample space of trades. You're going to have wins, you're going to have losses, wins, losses, wins. And maybe each of those wins is going to be, a 3R win, or 3%, let's say, of your account. And each of those losses is going to be -1. -1, -1, 3. So on and so forth. So when you have a look at your back-tested data from a bird's eye perspective, that back-tested data has a sample space of winning and losing. And on the individual trade, you don't know whether that individual trade is going to be a win or a loss. But you know at the end of a larger sample space, maybe a year's worth of data, you're going to end up profitable. And maybe you're going to have a result of 47% for the year for that particular strategy, or whatever it may be, which is great. Then when you go and trade the real life market and you forward trade, what you have to do is you have to remember that. You have to put that in perspective, that each individual trade, it may be a win or a loss, but if you adhere to your trading plan over a larger sample space, you're going to end up profitable. So to expect the individual win to be profitable is unrealistic. But to stick to your trading plan and expect yourself to be profitable over a year is realistic. So when you forward test that individual trade, you have to be free of stances and expectations, which the Bulletproof Your Mindset tool will help you do. And you trade emotionally on the individual trades. Okay? And then recognize that you're profitable at the end of the year, but you may take a few wins at the start of the month or at the start of the year, and you may build up a little bit of some percentage in the bank, and maybe at the end of the first week you're up 9%, but then the next month may be a negative 3%. Now, does that make the first month good and the next month bad? Well, it depends on your perspective, doesn't it? That could very well be that initial 9% could be an exaggerated month to compensate for the minimized month that next month. And what that's doing is it's just creating your average, and it's just resulting in your average. So to get elated over good months and to get depressed over bad months is an indication to me that that trader has short-term thinking, and they're only thinking month to month. So the next component here is don't think about the individual trade. Number 2, the action step is don't think about the individual trade. Put it in perspective in terms of the larger sample space. And if you have a broader perspective, you're not going to be emotional, because the emotions only come in when you narrow your perspective and you see a very narrow perspective and you only see one without the other. You only see the loss without the win. But the truth is, if you broaden your perspective, that losing month may just be compensating for a good month in the past or a good month in the future to give you your yearly average of 47%. Does that make sense? I hope so. So the way you remove the pain of losing is, firstly, optimize your trading plan. Then remove the attachments and the addictions and the benefits you're associating to the win with the Bulletproof Your Mindset tool. And then broaden your perspective. Put each of your losses in perspective. Put each of your wins in perspective. And if it helps, have your back-tested data up there to remind you that no individual outcome is certain. And the Bulletproof Your Mindset tool, the more and more you use that, the more and more long-term thinking you're going to embrace and actually implement into your trading. Okay? So these are 2 highly actionable ways you can manage your psychology and remove the pain of losing. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you found this useful, like, comment, and subscribe, and share these videos with your trading communities. I look forward to seeing each of you in the next video.